Full disclosure, I am not a very big online gamer, especially in the shooter genre. I've dabbled in the grueling Brawl online, and I played a bit of Smash 4's online capabilities, but outside of that I tend to stay offline. In the shooter genre, I have played games like Team Fortress 2, which I hold a solid meh for, and I also was there to catch the hype wave for Modern Warfare 1 and Black Ops 1's online. I absolutely love my experience with those titles and hold fond memories of the servers when they were still alive. But that can be for another video.
Overall, my experience with traditional shooters is rather minuscule. So if I ever praise something in Overwatch for a mechanic that may exist somewhere else, feel free to, enlighten me and tell me where that thing came from. But as a side note, that doesn't necessarily mean that just because it's an Overwatch but was originally someplace else doesn't make that any less significant. In fact, it gives me greater appreciation for both the game it came from and for the Overwatch creative team for making that work within the game. Okay, so now with that all out of the way, how about we start that intro right away?
Overwatch. The most successful online beta ever. I had seen footage of the game through AlphaRad's video Tracer is Cute, just after the beta went offline, and I was in love. Everything about the game just seemed to be new and innovative. It was a pure passion project, and you could just feel it when you looked around in the game's world. It was something you don't see very often in the gaming industry today, that sense of camaraderie and depth. Overwatch came out May 24, 2016 from Blizzard Entertainment as both publisher and developer. This game was in development for about 6 years and off the heels of a failed concept in Blizzard's creative team. From the ashes, however, Overwatch rose, and well, you can just see how it turned out for them.
I am such a fan of Overwatch that I basically just turn into sheep whenever I see Overwatch stuff that I can buy. I mean, it's getting a little to the point where, I got a keychain of the Overwatch symbol. But you know what? It lights up. Oh shit! Oh God! Did you see that? I wasn't expecting to do that. Oh Jesus! With the backstory of the development out of the way, why don't we actually move on to the backstory of the actual content of Overwatch?
The game takes place in a very far-off future Earth, where humans and robots known as the Omnic live together. At one point, however, the Omnium, aka the factories where Omnics are made, went rogue and started to create militarized soldiers to fight against the humans. The United Nations saw this and decided to take action, prompting the creation of Overwatch, a network of top soldiers from across the globe to fight against the Omnic. This war became known as the Omnic Crisis. Some of the characters you play as, notably Soldier 76, Reaper, Torbjorn, and Reinhardt, were some of the first members of Overwatch, with the peacekeeping group growing more as time went on. Eventually, Overwatch prevailed over the Omnics and the world was at peace once more. Over the next 30 years, more problems started to arise, with conflicts growing within members of Overwatch, conspiracy theories, accusations of human rights abuses, etc. This eventually led to the dismantling of Overwatch, with any Overwatch activity being deemed illegal. But now, as terrorism runs rampant through the organization called Talon, which includes former members of Overwatch, Reaper, and Widowmaker, inequality is commonplace, corporations are taking over. Winston, the now leader of Overwatch, makes an executive action to bring the gang back together to try and make the world at peace once more. By pushing payloads and standing in place long enough. Overwatch.
Okay, wait, so if Reaper and Widowmaker are now the bad guys, then why are they fighting alongside the other members of Overwatch if that's the team they're supposed to hate?
My theory is that they all have put aside their differences for the time being and are facing the much larger issue at front, which is the rise of the second Omnic Crisis. And these objectives are just training for them, as the characters never actually die during gameplay. They're eliminated. And when a character respawns, they usually have some quip about how it feels great to be back, or something of the sort.
Back to work.
It's all just training for them, and I think that's kind of a cool way to structure this sort of game. Now, in terms of gameplay itself, there are 4 types of games. Push the payload, capture a point and then push the payload, capture 2 points, and capture a point longer than the other team, or hold the point longer than the other team. Now, as simplistic as it may be, and with only 12 maps, it doesn't seem like there will be a lot, but there is. This mainly comes in the form of the heroes, or our playable characters. There are 4 types of characters. Offense. Characters who are strictly for doing a lot of damage, or just to distract their team. Defense. Characters who are mainly for keeping people off of a point, or at least making it harder for them to get there. Tanks. Characters with large health pools who are there to be bullet sponges, and are also used as counter picks for certain characters or setups. Support. Characters with abilities either for health regeneration, buffs, debuffs, or just booby-trapping a room and incinerating anybody who walks by.
Now, there's a hidden 5th group that Blizzard thought they were being clever with hiding, but they can't fool me, okay? Nothing gets past this head, alright? See, I see what you're doing, Overwatch. I see what you're doing, Blizzard. Cause I can't get through, no. I see through your clever disguise, okay? You can't fool me. Can't do that, okay? Can't. Booty!
Butts. Woo-wee! Look at them steamy buns! Blizzard stuck some Botox into the buttocks of these blokes. The worst part, the game is in first person, so you can't even enjoy the view. Actually, that's probably a good thing because you don't want to be distracted by that delicious ass. Am I right though? Am I right though? Ass cheeks, ass side. Structuring your team correctly for whatever objective you're going after or defending is crucial to being successful in the game. If you have a bad team comp, you can be the best player in the world, but you will get stomped if you have no one to play off of. Or we could always pick all the same character. That's fine too, I guess. I mean, we could play it like that. Oh, 2 snipers? Oh, why do we need... Oh, just stop. Now, sometimes your team will actually pick a good team comp, and 9 times out of 10 you'll win. A good team comp goes a long way, as well as also being good as the character that you're picking. There are also different types of play. You can do your typical quick play, which is just your default way of play. Play against AI, which is, Lemming Simulator? Custom game, where you can screw around with modifiers, maps, etc., but I have no friends, so I don't have footage for this. And then there's the weekly brawl, which is a different set of rules every week. This week, it was overly defensive, which... cancer. And this week it was... Oh no. Oh god, why? Why have you forsaken me? I just wanted... Why? While I was writing this review, competitive mode was released, so I might as well explain that too. Competitive mode exists for those who want to truly test their skills. Show everyone who's bad, who's the cream of the crop. You need to play in 10 placement matches in order for the game to accurately judge your skill level, which is denoted by a number between 1 and 100. The reason for 10 matches is to make sure that it isn't so much your team that sucks, but rather you suck. Or conversely, your team is good, but you're bad. It exists to try and give you an accurate skill level, but there were a lot of instances where I was doing really good, but my team was just shit. So I ended up getting penalized for that, which is kind of a dumb system, but I guess it's kind of hard for the game to judge whether or not you're doing good, or your team is all bad, or just a few people are good. So I guess I understand that for simplicity's sake, but I would just rather prefer it be based off of my personal game opposed to my team's game, because sometimes I'll do really good, but my team will do bad, which means it will lose, and that reflects badly on me. Matches in competitive play are shorter than their quick play counterparts, usually by about a minute or so, and require you to go best 2 out of 3 for payload and capture the point, and 3 out of 5 for control point maps. Aside from that, there are also different seasons, which each season resetting everyone's skill level to even the playing field. Also included in the most recent patch are nerfs to McCree and Widowmaker, as well as a few other odd changes. I mean, like, seriously, why? That brain chug actually annoys me. There's also a quick tutorial which teaches you how to play the basic mechanics of Overwatch, and a training room, where you can test characters' abilities, as well as practice on test dummies. Poor guy. Got stuck in a room with a gorilla. Bet he's getting paid minimum wage, too. Haha! Capitalism! Another thing I really enjoy about this game is the attention to detail that certain characters have. Take, for instance, Pharah's legendary skin. In this legendary skin, you can see the amount of shots that you have. Granted, It's one less than you currently have, but regardless, I still enjoy that because it's cool to look at. It's an interesting feature. Something else interesting too that I like is Junkrat, because whenever he attacks, there are visibly bombs that get shuffled out of the ammo holder. Plus, for Soldier 76, you can see his ammo count on the side of his gun. I don't know, I just really enjoy that attention to detail a lot, and I kind of wish that more games nowadays did that sort of stuff because I'm attention to detail whore. Now, when you choose a hero, I'm going to pick Best Waifu for Waifu Tracer for this example. You have two abilities mapped to your L1 and R1 for the PS4 version, and an ultimate ability shortened to ult by players. Some characters also have other abilities such as Lucio's Wall Run and passive abilities like Junkrat's Total Mayhem. If you master these abilities, you can perform very impressive spurts of gameplay, which will sometimes be showcased in the play of the game, which is shown at the end of every match to see what the coolest and most impressive play of the game is. In some instances, it actually is kinda cool. Other instances, it's a Torbjorn doing nothing while his turret does all the work. It's a give and take system, you know? The best part about the system to me is that it doesn't discriminate against characters of any type. You are rewarded in this game for playing your role. This is indicated by the meter along the bottom of the screen known as fire. You gain fire by playing your roles, so healing if you're a support, holding the point if you're defense, doing damage for offense, etc. Play of the game is based off of whoever got the most fire in the shortest amount of time. Usually this is denoted by somebody having a good ult, but sometimes a Mercy can just slide in there because they kept their team alive during a push. Another way the game encourages you to play within your role is how you are scored at the end of the game. Once the play of the game has been viewed, everyone gets shown 4 of the best players of that match, and you get to choose to vote between them to see who was the best player of that game. The amount of eliminations you receive does not factor into how much experience you get, but rather there are certain categories that earn you medals. Therefore, if you're a healer, you get points for healing your team. If you're offense, you'll get points for keeping enemies away from a point, as well as doing damage, eliminations, things of that nature. But I digress. Anyway, Overwatch does not function like most other shooters, where you need to level up in order to unlock new weapons, abilities, characters, etc. Everything is given to you right as you buy the game. Leveling up only shows other players how long you have personally played the game, aka basically how much experience you have with the game. Get it? Experience! It also gives you loot boxes. Now, loot boxes are a randomized mystery box system, where you get a new loot box every time you level up. Inside loot boxes are 4 random items which can range from sprays and voice lines to new skins for your characters. While not explicitly adding anything to the gameplay, these loot boxes give you incentive to keep playing, as you may really want a certain skin for a character, so you keep playing in hopes of getting that skin. If you already have something that you got from a loot box, you will be given coins to make up for the fact that it's a duplicate, which you can put towards buying anything else that you want, assuming you have the coins to pay for it. You can't exactly get coins up front, however. You can either get them directly from loot boxes or from duplicates. If you want, you can buy loot boxes from the online store to instantly get more loot boxes. However, the game never forces you to do this at any point. Another thing that I love about Overwatch is how the level up system never gets progressively harder. After about level 20, the amount of experience needed to level up never increases, it stays constant, so you are always putting the same amount of time into each level up, which around an hour is about how long it takes to level up. This makes getting loot boxes a lot more constant, and also a sense of progression all the more obtainable. You can speed up the process of leveling up by playing in a group, which the game incentivizes by giving you 20% more experience when you're in a group. Overwatch is a team-based game, so you need to work together in order to succeed. Now, this also means it leaves itself up to chance whether or not you get put on a good team that knows what's needed and what's not needed, but playing in a group is not only good for reaffirming that you aren't the one doing bad at the game, but it also gives your team an edge, as you can plan ults, attacks, back attacks, pushes, etc. with at least one other person, which sometimes can lead you to victory. This game is a lot more fun playing in a group, and if you haven't tried this game for yourself, I would highly encourage playing with a friend. The game is fine if you play by yourself, but it is so much more fun in a group. In addition to group play, another thing which keeps the game going is the connections within the world itself. There are a plethora of references to media, as well as past Blizzard titles found within Overwatch. Characters are the biggest draw to me in Overwatch, as I feel they are so intertwined with the world, and Blizzard just went out of the way to make sure it seemed like they were real, normal people. Well, normal is being extended a bit, but you get the idea. It is because of this adoration for the world building that I will be starting a brand new series, I know, I just started a series, and I'm going to have a new series, called Overwatch Over Thoughts. This series will have a hard look at characters in Overwatch, evaluate the lore, who they are, design concepts, and how all this plays into their role in the game.
Overall, Overwatch is a fantastic game, and it is slowly creeping up to be one of my favorite games of all time, and easily taking the cake for Game of the Year. I just love it when a company takes so much time and dedication into a production, and when they're actually brought to tears and immobilized on stage because of how excited they are to share their idea with the world. It's hard not to fall in love with every aspect of that. Now, in terms of this new series, I can't exactly say when it will be starting, but I can announce that I'll be starting off with Genji. Just because he's the first character in the lineup, figured why not start with him. Eventually, I plan on fans being allowed to pick who I choose next for this new series, so if I have a straw poll or something like that says, hey, I'm either going to do Mei or I'm going to do Bastion, because they're both cancer. Am I right? Am I? Ha, ha, ha. So, things of that nature. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to share this video with your friends. Just trying to get my name out there. I hope to continue looking at video games in this sense and doing reviews and other videos such to like. Because I'm currently studying to be a video game designer, so I kind of hope that my reviews will be a bit more insightful, or at least give a different perspective on the gaming industry or just certain games that people love, and kind of give my perspective of it as a game designer and someone who loves the aspect of design and every single aspect of it. So I hope that point of view will be interesting to you guys in the future. So that said, thanks again for watching, and let the games begin.